Okay.
All right.
All right, let's get started.
All right. So here we go.
Welcome, everyone. New and regulars.
Yes.
Today
It's
we talk
another
about Mario.
Mario.
Mhm.
Um, so I've got a little thing here that I put kind of thing about our subject today. And we're going to start with Popeye.
Yeah,
All
you're
right.
Popeye. Okay.
Start with Popeye. We're going to bring it back. Start at the beginning, 1981. We're in the middle of the arcade boom. Pac-Man, Galaxian, Space Invaders, Asteroids. There's a small Japanese company that's best known at this point for playing cards, decides to take a gamble in this field. They got nothing else. They've been doing cards, they've taken up taxi driving, like they need something to stay relevant. They've had a couple of games, but their next one is going to be a big one, Radar Scope. It's take on Space Invaders, and it does decently well in Japan. Their newly opened American office is positive they have a hit on their hands. So much so, they ordered 3,000 units to be shipped from Japan to New York. Heck, they're even going to go ahead and take on the storage and distribution of the units because they don't want to avoid having to share any of the profits with the traditional distribution network. They barely managed to sell 1,000 units. The other 2,000 end up sitting in a warehouse gathering dust. Things are so bad, the company has to move from New York to Washington in an effort to cut down the cost of storage and shipping. Now, this is a family company. The person who's in charge of the American office is the son-in-law of the person who's in charge of the Japanese office. He begs his father-in-law, please, you got to do something. Can you modify this game in some way so we can go ahead and at least break even? And so because he's not going to leave his son-in-law, he's not going to leave his daughter out in the lurch, he goes around the office, he takes a poll like, hey, do you guys, anyone in here have any idea for what we can do taking this off hardware and making another game? And they got one guy in the office who's like, I got an idea. Two problems. First problem, this guy never designed a game in his life. He was there only because his dad knew the guy who was the president of the company. A lot of nepotism going on here. But he was good at art and he had some ideas. He had a theory. He thought, hey, you know what? Why don't we have a game that's about something? Like, why don't we have a game that has some sort of story? And this brings us back to Popeye, because the designer knew that a Popeye movie had just come out the year before. Popeye was on people's minds. What if we did a game where we had a love triangle? We had Popeye, we had Olive Oil, and she needed to be saved from Bluto. And this would be something unlike we had seen before, except for problem number two, which is they could not get the publishing rights for Popeye. But they didn't give up. The fundamental idea was sound, they just needed a little bit of rejiggering. Keep the damsel, shift the hair color. Keep the aggrieved boyfriend, but change his occupation from sailor to carpenter with mad hops. Keep the figurative group, let's make him just an ape. The American office wasn't really excited about this. They got a copy, then they were like, we actually just want another version of Space Invaders, not whatever this was. But they didn't have any other choice, and the rent was coming due. More on that later. And with that, it's on like Donkey Kong, which, as an aside, was the only character the Japanese branch actually gave a name to. Olive Oil became Lady, and Popeye was replaced by Jumpman. Now, our young designer friend did have an idea for the carpenter, and he did think there could be something we name him, something that would be echoed and remembered for years to come. And that name, of course, is Mr. Video. Unfortunately for him, he did not get the choice in this matter. To make sure it appealed to a wider audience, the naming choice was put in the hands of the American office. which brings us back to the subject of money and, more importantly, rent. The situation for the American office was bad. It was so bad that the person who owned the warehouse came in and said, hey guys, rent is due on the 1st, not the 5th, and certainly not the 11th. Pay your rent on time. Now, I wish I'd be a fly on the wall for what happens next, because it's 1981, right? Like, there's no internet as we know it. That means what happens is either a long, expensive phone call, a telegraph, I don't know, a letter. But whatever the case is, they let Nintendo Japan know, we got some names for you. The lady, we're going to call Pauline. We're going to name her after the person who's been heading our supply, the wife of that person. And as for Jumpman, we're going to name him after the angry guy who just yelled at us about rent. And that's when everything starts to come together.
Mm-hmm.
A colleague of the young designer says, hey, you know what? That dude doesn't look like a carpenter. He looks more like a plumber. All right. They go ahead and they say, why don't we try something with him being a plumber? They put him in a small game, give him a brother. They have him fighting things like fireflies, icicles, turtles. More success comes. The Japanese company decides to break out and make a home console system, a family computer, if you will. Releases in Japan, it's great. When it comes to the US market, there's a little bit of hesitation though. At this point, it's 84, early 85. We're still recovering from the great video game crash here. You go into Alamogordo, New Mexico and dig a hole, you may find a copy of E.T., you know? Retailers were skittish at best about trying to sell a new video game console. In other words, the parlance of today's time, the system lacked a killer app, a reason to go out and buy one of these. And the young designer has stepped up one more time. And he, at that point, had an idea for a fantasy series, had to work on that at the same time as something else starring our titular hero, but he does it. He takes everything he's learned about all the games that have been produced up to this point, and he produces something that has stood the test of time. And it was in this month, 35 years ago, that we got this. We got Super Mario Brothers. And that's what we're going to talk about
Mario.
today. Yeah. Now, as an aside, though, he eventually did release a Popeye game. It was all right.
Yeah.
So.
That's Mr. Miyamoto, right?
Yes, it was.
Uh-huh. Legendary.
To a certain point, like it was gonna, if it had been worked out the right way, it would have been a Popeye game. It would have totally 100% been a Popeye game. But because they weren't able to get the license, they had to make something up, and that's what they made up.
What's the lesson here, man? You never know, man. You
really
just
good
never
at
know.
Yeah.
What do you say, Christopher?
Get really good at making stuff up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's what they did. Like, they just made it up as they went along.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And it just so much of it by chance.
Yeah.
That's what gets me. Like, so much of it is just like happenstance, you know?
Yeah, you just never know. Alan,
Hello.
you are. I just want to make sure your audio works.
Oh no, I just finally figured it out.
Yeah,
I'm not the only one in the room. My dog right here is in the background just listening at y'all.
Pooch.
So I guess I'll go around and ask, like, what was everyone's first Mario game?
Oof.
I don't remember anymore. I think it was either New Super Mario Brothers on the DS or the original one from Wii Virtual Console.
Okay.
Mine was the original Super Mario Brothers on the NES, which I got in 1988 with Duck Hunt and Track and Field. It was that day. I don't remember the day that my life had changed. So that was my first experience. So was Mario, the original.
What about you, Michelle?
Probably well, I didn't have an original any Nintendo because I wasn't that cool. But I remember going over to my friends next door, and I used to watch them on their Nintendo. So probably it was that. Otherwise, it was on the SNES. I can't remember. But I think it was the original.
Alon?
I kind of want to say like technically GBA, but the way that I think of it is no different than like test driving your own car versus having your own car. So I would say the first Mario game that I ever owned would probably be 3D World. Like I played the Nintendo DS version, but I never actually owned it. I would say like when the DS came out, it was around the 2006 era, 2006. So I would say I was around 12 years old, so I didn't have the funds to afford myself these luxuries. So 3D World was my first own Mario game.
What about you, Gus / Dimitri?
It's the name. It throws people off. I don't know how I got. Like, I don't have a really good memory of playing it, but we had Super Mario Bros. 3, and that was the first Mario game I played. But I'm pretty sure that was also the last. And yeah, so I know. Besides Mario Kart, like I don't wanna bring Mario Kart, you know.
No,
Yeah.
That's all, it's all part of the franchise.
he's not good at those types of games. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, I'm awful. I'm awful. Like I tried like playing with Gus. I'm horrible. Like these games are like made very simple. I just can't. I just can't do it. Pretty embarrassing.
Connor, if you don't mind me asking, when did you play your first Mario game? I don't know if you want to type it in chat. That's fine. I'll say my first was probably kind of like Michelle. I did not own a Sega Nintendo right away. I actually had a Master System, so I had to go to other people's houses to play Mario, and that's when I learned like all the important things. I learned how to blow on the cartridge. I was taught from those who had come before that is the way you made things work, and I put it in, and I put in my time. I died very quickly, like people do. I was amazed as anyone else when a dude was like, "Hey, wait, watch this. I'm gonna go to World 5, right?" Like it's. I think the first one I owned, though, much like Gus, was the one that had World Class Track Meet, Duck Hunt, and Super Mario Brothers.
Yep.
And I've been there since. I've had most of the games, played through them. He's been my guy. Matter of fact, were you to come to my condo, you went to my restroom, you would see my shower curtain, and Mario would be looking at you right there. That's what's
awesome.
there.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, what do you think it is that has made, like, I mean, there have been a lot of games that have come out since 1980. There are games that existed beforehand. You had games that existed afterwards. And yet this dude is still trucking, still one of the most recognizable symbols in industry, right? Like next to Mickey Mouse, like kids know Mario. Why? Why do you think 35 years later, this is still a thing?
I do believe part of it would be like as a basic concept, Mario games are very simple. Like even more so than like Legend of Zelda, especially nowadays. Like the idea of Mario is like the most basic structure is you jump on things and they die. It's that simple. Now, of course, the games do a lot more than that. You have power ups. You have more complicated enemies. You have like structure of levels. But at its most basic core level, it's something that a lot of people can very easily understand. Running into something is bad. Jumping on it is good. It allows it to be very easy to give to someone and have them understand it. There's rarely story, and if there is, it's done through mostly visual means. So it's something that's just very easy to spread and just to work off of, to give to even young children usually.
Okay, so there's definitely something that makes it attractive to the young. Like it's weird. Like there have been like I've read a couple of things talking about World 1-1 of Mario Brothers and how it was like kind of a revelation in terms of how like it taught you those basic things. Like, hey, you run into that thing that's bad, you should probably jump on it. Oh man, there are these blocks above you. Oh, some of them you can hit and something comes out of. Some of them you hit, nothing does, except the ones that something does happen to. Oh man, there's a pipe. Maybe it'll take you somewhere. Like it's weird how much information they convey in such a short amount of time. And I think it's serious. It's good at doing that.
Yeah, I mean, and my kids now, not knowing any of this history and all this stuff, they love it. They love it. We play 4-player Mario Wii. You know, Mario for New Super Mario Brothers for the Wii, and for the Wii U, and for the Switch, and they just can't get enough of it. And I think it's just a combination of things. I think it's the design of the games. Mario is just, I don't know, just a lovable character. You know, he's got the red and blue. You got Princess Peach, Toad, Luigi, you know, the whole thing. I don't know, they love it. And I obviously love it because I have pretty much all of them. So, and Connor brings up a good point about Mario Kart. That's his first introduction to Mario, huh? And I remember when Mario Kart first came out for the Super Nintendo, and how big of a hit that was. I don't know if you've ever played that, Connor, but that's also a good one you might want to check out. But there's a whole new like slew of Mario games for, you know, all different types of like gamers, I'd say, right?
I mean, if you want Mario to do something, he's probably doing it. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
Mario,
you got sports, fighting,
Mario real-time strategy.
yeah. So,
does anyone else other than me like have any like specific like Mario memories, like with any of the games? Because there's just enough of them.
I'll tell you this. I must have been like 10 years old. I don't even know how old I was. I played Mario 2 on the NES, right? And I would just, like, I don't know what it was, man. I had to beat it, man. I went through it. I sat down and I beat it. I call up my dad, let him know that he was at work, busy at work. I call him up. I'm like, Dad, I beat it. He couldn't care less. He's like, oh yeah, let's go. He's like, I gotta go. That's my memory. That's my early Mario memory there.
Were you saying something, Christopher?
Oh, no, I wasn't.
Oh,
yeah. And to this day, Mario 2 is one of my favorites still. So.
Oh.
I'm the oddball here.
What's your fastest speed run?
I can't do speed runs. That's I can't do it. I'm not one of those that finish the whole game in like 4 minutes. Yeah.
Weirdly enough, like the one I have the strongest memory of is one I didn't play a whole lot of, which is Mario Kart Double Dash, which I still believe is like the perfected version of Mario Kart.
Mm-hmm.
And it was watching my friends play and watching the kind of teams that formed and how like they would like first be really competitive with each other. And then like we had one team who like the infighting would cause that team to fail. And then one guy would rage quit and leave the other person there. And we'd just be like the only thing that could take out Team Clerks, that was who they were, was in fact Team Clerks. Oh man, it was like they still like on New Year's, like even now, years after it's been released, will break out 4 Wavebirds, go ahead, hook it up to the television, and have at it. Just, you know, playing around for a couple hours with that.
Dimitri, you played Mario Kart Wii, right?
That was my favorite.
Yeah,
Like I was so good at that.
you used to play that all the time. Remember?
I loved it. I still love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I wish they could. I wish the other Mario Karts were as easy, or maybe I'm just getting worse.
Hey, Mario Kart 8 is pretty good, man.
Is it? See, I can't relate. I can't relate. I guess I hopped off. Right?
What about you, Michelle?
What's my favorite Mario memory? I
Yeah.
used to play a lot of Dr. Mario. I loved Dr. Mario.
Mhm.
It
Go on.
I played that a lot because I loved my Game Boy. And the only one I was really good at was Mario 3. And I think it was the only one that I was close to actually beating. I don't remember if I actually beat it. But I used to like to play it a lot. That's my Mario memory.
Mario 3 solid. I tried for a better part of a year to play the ending theme on my clarinet to transpose. 'Cause I truly did love the end of that game.
You
What
gotta
about
do,
you?
you gotta do that for us, man. I want to hear you do that.
Oh man, I have not played the clarinet in so long. It would be very embarrassing. It would sound.
That's what will make it better. Well, it brings me to another question, man. That I want to
What's
ask
up?
everybody. What is your favorite Mario game?
Can it be off branch Mario, say like Luigi? Or it has to be directly Mario?
It's got to be directly Mario.
Directly Mario.
Unfortunate.
I mean, Mario should at least make an appearance in the game at some point.
I mean, he does. I mean, it's.
Yeah,
I mean, for
so
personally,
you're going with Luigi's Mansion, I'm assuming.
yeah, basically. Luigi's. I mean, if I weren't to say not Luigi's Mansion, that's a tough one. It's going back to 3D World. I mean, I did play all 3 slots of that. With Luigi's Mansion, though, I have such high tier respect for it that right now I'm on the 3rd installment, and I refuse to play it anymore because it's just getting too good. The animations are great. I stopped right after I don't want to spoil too much, but there's a T-Rex scene. I stopped at that scene, and I'm like, you know what? I'm done. This game is just too beautiful.
Like outside of the Double Dash stuff, I think my favorite would probably be Super Mario World. Like I remember getting that for the Super Nintendo, and that game was just, I mean, so many hours. Like when Mario, like yeah, he could fly in 3 with the raccoon tail, but it seemed a little forced. When he put on the cape and he's just like, "Yep, I'm doing my thing." The special levels that you went to after you're on Star Road, like I remember Tubular took me like 3 months to beat. I remember coming home and being like, hearing my little like Moroccan da 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 da. I'm like, oh man, I gotta make sure and get these balloons and get across the stage. And it flummoxed me for a little while, but I eventually got it and I was so happy.
Yeah, Secret World is good. I think in my case, it's a hard choice. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of good ones. I think I might probably just have to go with actually figuring out all like the secrets in New Super Mario Bros. On the DS because that was my first one, so I played it a lot. And unlocking Luigi, just stupendous.
Oh,
yeah.
And just realizing, oh, I get to play the game more, along with trying to collect everything. It was like my first real Mario game that I actually understood how to play, so I put a lot of time into it.
Yeah.
So I've heard mentioned at this point a couple of times, even though we're talking about Mario, I've heard some mention of his brother. And I guess I want to kind of poll the room. How do people feel about Luigi?
He's the better one.
He's the modest brother. You know, he gets a lot of credit taken away from him.
I mean, I feel like there's a little bit of slander going on here. Not a lot. Like I got nothing against Luigi, nothing against him. Respect. Like I still remember in Super Mario Brothers 2 when I realized, oh wait, man, this man can jump. Look at him. Like, and that was like Mario. I thought that was your thing. Like you were a jump man, and now your title's been taken. But yeah, like I felt bad. Like the year of Luigi, like really just did not do him justice. It really didn't. Like they went through the trouble of giving it to him, and then they just kind of like, oh yeah, they jammed a bunch. They forgot about it for most of the year, and then jammed a bunch of stuff at the end. I wish we could have gotten it during the Switch era, not Wii U. I think there'd be more for him.
Yeah.
Connor seems like Connor has something to say. Mario
Yeah.
is better. I do like Luigi. Nothing against him. I mean, you can't just leave it like that. There needs to be a little more sustenance to that argument.
No, I mean, does there really? Does there really? Like, nothing against Luigi. It's just Mario is like we are here right now in the year 2020 doing a live video cast about video games.
Mhm.
And we're doing that because the video game industry exists. The video game industry exists, at least in this country. This dude right here. This dude right here.
My guy right there, man.
So, again, I'm not saying he got there alone. I'm not saying Luigi wasn't there at his back, you know, cheering him along. But at his back, cheering him along. That's all right. But again, nothing but love for the entire Mario family, except for Bowser. Listen, I'm going to
I definitely think, though, that spin-offs like the RPGs definitely make Bowser significantly better than he is in mainline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like Mario and Luigi Bowser is basically a completely different character from like Super Mario Bros. Bowser.
Yeah. I like the kind of the occasional attempts at fleshing him out. Like this idea, it makes a certain amount of sense after you have them in enough games where like they go from fighting each other to like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this party thing because that's fun. Let's do that. To really like silly stuff where they're like teaming up against some greater evil. I just like, I'll admit, when they made John Bowser the executive president of Nintendo of America, no, you could have made anyone else. Anyone else. I wouldn't say anything. I'd be like, congratulations, good luck.
On the topic of Bowser, how does everyone feel about Bowsette?
Don't bring that evil thing. Never bring that up again.
Okay, we got one opinion already out there. Wasn't it like a meme, and then Nintendo accepted the meme and put it in Legend of Zelda?
Well, I don't think it made Legend of Zelda.
It must have been a mod then, because like it was a very good Bowser.
Mod. The scary part is, though, is that if they did, I can guarantee that they would have made a lot of money by selling that, and that it hurts.
I mean,
Don't want to believe it, but it's true.
I mean, I can totally imagine Bowser, you know, using some sort of mirage to be like, haha, I was not the princess at all. But that's about it. That's the only bit I can think of. Otherwise, it's just all, deviant art stuff.
Weird.
I saw that.
Yeah. So kind of like switching gears slightly here, but staying with Nintendo. Did anyone get a chance here to see the Nintendo Direct today?
I didn't realize there was one today.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of it.
Yeah. I guess I can hold it up.
It was quite the good one. All third party stuff, but still really interesting. And like I
It was
was saying earlier to Christopher, I think the biggest piece of news coming out of this is the American release of Control and Hitman 3 for the Switch, which isn't going to actually be on the system, but rather you're going to stream it from somewhere else and play it on the Switch.
Yeah, that was the one the Control was the one that really got my interest. I'm like, wow, I wonder how they're going to do this.
So
Yeah.
it's like, sorry, well, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. What were you saying?
I was going to say, so is it Nintendo adopting kind of like a Stadia / online streaming?
Something like that. And
Okay.
I think if they can get this to work, the sky is the limit for the Switch. Like imagine playing like those that are capable, right? Like that use control scheme, AAA titles on your Switch and only having to worry about lag and latency, right? Like I don't think it's gonna work.
Oh, sorry.
I don't think it works for every game, but I think it can work. You were gonna say?
I was gonna say that concerns me a little bit because like I'm totally up for Nintendo going into aspiring for higher, but like they're been known for having pretty poor online services. I mean, like Super Smash Brothers. If you really want to be hardcore, if you will, you sometimes might have to go for those hoary Ethernet adapters for the Switch to get a very stable connection. Even Sakurai recommended specifically the Hori connection because he's even aware that Smash Brothers is having some issues. I mean, that's about it. But that's the only thing that concerns me. It's just like able to stream all these high res images, but like if they're smart, they're probably going to stream it at 720p because that's all the Switch can do portable. 1080p for full size. I think it's going to be a giant game changer because you can literally be like, boop, boop, TV, portable. That would probably be Nintendo's win regarding like a Stadia feel or Game Pass, what you will. But like, they just need to work on the online services part, and I feel like I'm on board. They'll take my money either way.
I see you got is that the limited edition Switch there? I see that in the background.
Yes, this is a small portion. If I scan to there's about two cases worth of games in those boxes behind me. On top of that, you probably will see a limited edition Pikachu one that unfortunately was broken by my 8-year-old nephew at the time, and I'll remind him about repaying debts later on in life.
Nice.
So we
I think
we also had an announcement for Bravely Default 2 coming next year.
Yes, I am a bit iffy on the game's presentation personally, but I did really enjoy Bravely Default 1 and Bravely 2nd. I play both of them. They're both really great. Like, I don't know. There's not really a lot to say on it. They're just really good RPGs.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they keep like the same like quality for the Switch sequel. I do feel like the 3DS games definitely had a bit of a charm to them that I don't feel in the Switch version so much.
I was going to say, like, one of the things I'm happy with, though, with Bravely Default 2 is like they seem to be really taking into account like user feedback. Like they did have that demo and they said, hey, you know what? We heard there were difficulty issues and we're going to work on those. And I'd rather have them take the extra time. I know people were looking forward to it in 2020, but go into 2021 and be a game that's good later than putting out something bad that you have to patch to make better if you're going to patch it at all.
Yeah.
What else we got? Oh, No More Heroes 3 with a 1 and 2 release for the Switch, which I think is great news.
I
Like
agree.
Suda 51 is amazing. That's actually the first game I played of his. He of Killer 7, Lollipop Chainsaw. Trying to think what else he has done besides No More Hero. Killer is Dead. But just really like fun sort of games that are really wacky in a certain way. And I think I still don't understand how that game made it to the Wii. I don't get it. Like it is such not a Nintendo game.
Yeah. I think that just kind of adds to the charm, though. It's very striking for the Wii, and just for like Nintendo in general. Like that was before Bayonetta. That was before, like a bunch of Nintendo's franchises started to kind of like ease into. Well, I guess that was after like Twilight Princess, but like at the time, a lot of Nintendo's games were still very family or child oriented. So having more support of games like No More Heroes, that's kind of just something for other people to play was just a great decision, and it kind of really cemented it.
Has anyone else here played No More Heroes? All right. I think if you get a chance, it's in the eShop right now. If you got a Switch, check it out.
Do it.
It's a little bit of fun.
Did you see?
It's not too long.
Yeah. Did you see Hyrule Warriors? Age of Calamity.
Yes, I have. That's the other thing. I didn't personally like get much out of the other of the Hyrule Warriors games. Like they're fine, but I've never really been much of like a Warriors game person. They do look to be not like just I forget what the proper term for it is, but they don't look to be just a Warriors game, thankfully.
Muso.
Yeah, that. So I'm hoping it turns out differently. I haven't really gotten to see any of the much of it yet because I just haven't really seen anything of it yet.
I think they actually have a demo for it in the store now. The first hour of the game.
Yeah. They do.
I am like the last one I got, and it's okay. Like it really is just kind of like a Muso game with some like Legend of Zelda painted over it. This one seems like I love the idea behind this one taking place before Calamity Ganon happens, and like I think if you haven't seen it, you should definitely watch. If you watch the trailer for nothing else, watch that. There's a slight surprise with it at the end that is chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. I think it's going to help us get through the time between now and Breath of the Wild 2. Like I think it's a little taste, a little like aperitif. That was good. A bunch of PC ports are coming, like Griftland, Surviving the Aftermath. I think like Nintendo, at least this iteration with the Switch, has made themselves a nice home for those sort of like smaller PC games that don't require a lot of like graphical power, but like, hey, you want to play them in more traditional console setting, welcome to the Switch. We're right there for you. And I think this is the last third-party direct for the year, so hopefully we get one more first-party. I hope, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Then the other thing I wanted to mention, if anyone had looked into the update on the Sony PS5 UI, because I think that's going to be another game changer. This idea of being able to pull up streams live based on where you are in the game to provide direction, like
It's great things like that that kind of like try to bring try to bring consoles closer to some of the things you can do with PC. Because playing on PC, if you need help, you're already on a computer, or you may even have like a second monitor, so you can literally watch a stream with one eye while you're playing the game. So I think things like that are just a great change to like kind of try and bring something to consoles.
yeah. I think that's a place where Sony's going to have a little bit of an advantage, because I think like Microsoft could do it, but because I think they want to compete in that live streaming space, like they would have a harder time doing that with Twitch than Sony, who's not trying to compete in that space at all. Like they don't care about the live streaming space in that way. They didn't try to put out their own service to compete with them. I just hope it works out. I think the closer we get to those features, the better it is for everyone involved. Oh, I gotta ask Gus.
Yeah.
How's your pre-order looking?
So far, so good, man. I was just about to ask you, are you still on the hunt?
At my home right now, there is a PS5 headset. There's a PS5 charging station. There's PS5 media remote. You know what I don't have yet pre-ordered?
You still don't have the PS5?
No, huh?
You've been trying for like months.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to spend that day just hunting it down. I'm not gonna give up.
Don't give up, man.
Find
like
little old
man,
ladies.
don't give up.
Be like my PS5.
I won't go that far. Won't go that far.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've been seeing a lot of videos on the comparisons between, like, physically the systems, like the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. And I don't know, it's interesting, man, because they're both, I think, the same. I think they both like weigh pretty much the same, but PS5 is a little bit, obviously it's bigger. And the controller, they say, is a big improvement over the last one. So just the whole feel of it and just kind of everything. I've been hearing a lot of good things about the PS5 controller. Not that I'm knocking the Xbox down, but because I'll end up probably getting the Xbox as well somewhere down the line. But I'm interested to see how that's going to play out.
Yeah. Is anyone else looking at release date, or even like getting a PS5 or Xbox Series X right away?
I'm going to try. The last gen console, it was all about the journey. It was like 3 of my friends just hunting down for PlayStations. We found one guy, his PlayStation, but they sold out. Then we went to another GameStop. We found one. And then we were trying to hunt down for mine, and it was already like 2 a.m. on midnight release. And I gave up hope. But like the idea of just hunting down for it is awesome, and I'm going to try to do it because you can't get a pre-order from anywhere. I mean, unless, Target sneaks it in here and there, but I lost all hope. How about you, Dimitri? Are you getting a PlayStation 5 or a new Xbox Series X?
So I'll probably get one of those consoles like down the line. I don't think I'm gonna get it like on release day. But I'm a little upset. So I guess like I'm an Xbox fanboy, whatever.
Okay.
But all my buddies, I think they talked about it. They said they kind of want to go with PS5. And the only reason why they want to do it is the exclusive, which kind of hurts because Xbox has been plagued with like just bad exclusives or like a lack of exclusives, I should probably say. But yeah, if all my friends get a PS5, I'll probably end up getting a PS5 before an Xbox.
Which exclusives are they looking at?
Like Spider-Man was big. Like when that came out, they were like really bummed out. The other one that irked me was I played almost all the God of War games except the newest one that came out for the PS4. So that killed me. I was like, shoot, like just the exclusives. It's just like I just feel like they're better. Like we still have Halo, you know. Like I don't know.
I think that's, I think Halo just lost another director.
Did they? I heard some good news about Halo. I heard that like it's supposed to have like the biggest video game budget like in history. This new upcoming Halo. I don't know if it's gonna. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna make the game any good, but we'll see. Gus, are you gonna get the PS5 first or Xbox?
Yeah, PS5 for sure. But in
Really?
in a perfect world, like I would definitely like I'd get Xbox
Mhm.
if they just all they got to do for me is come out with one game, and there's no doubt in my mind that I'm going to get it on day one, and that would be Left 4 Dead 3. That's what I would love.
Yes.
If they
I
Are they
know.
actually gonna make that? They talked about that like forever
Rumor.
ago.
Yeah, rumors, but
I know, but that's been a rumor for like
Mhm.
how many years now?
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
5 years, 7 years?
There's no
Whatever.
way. I
Oh,
wish.
yeah. If I was Microsoft, I'd be like, listen, whatever money you need, make it happen. We're gonna get this thing as a launch title. You're coming out swinging, man. I'm telling you, it's that would be awesome. But I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, it would be amazing though.
Oh, I might even cry. I'd be super happy. PS5 for sure for me. With Mario, not Mario. What am I saying? Miles Morales, Spider-Man. So that's what I'm getting.
Bundled with the Spider-Man before that one.
Which one? Like PS4 one?
Yeah, it's going to be optimized for PS5,
Oh,
so
yeah, I
essentially
heard
you're
about
getting
that.
2 games.
I heard.
Yeah.
But PS5 has the like the exclusives. Like you got God of War, right? Gran Turismo's gonna come. I'm a big Gran Turismo fan. Like that one.
Mhm.
Last of Us, obviously. I don't know if they bring back an Uncharted or something like that. That'd be great. But
It's unfortunate because like Xbox is doing a lot of good things with like the Game Pass. Didn't they just buy Bethesda? Or am I wrong for saying?
they did.
And like they just, I don't know, they've been like stepping up their game. Like ever since their horrible like Xbox One launch,
Mhm.
I feel like they've done everything right, but everybody's still like, I guess, chooses PlayStation.
They try. Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
part of it is that like Microsoft isn't as dedicated on getting exclusives and all that as Sony is, because like Microsoft bought out Mojang and now literally owns Minecraft, the like most owned game ever. But they didn't make it exclusive or like, oh well, now you have to play it on an Xbox. They've
Yeah,
actually just really good about trying to keep it open and to keep it cross-play, and they've very much been focusing on making it a game that as many people as can play as possible. I think that's actually just a really interesting choice, and it's one that I think is benefiting them. Maybe not in terms of just selling Xboxes, but I think it's benefiting Microsoft as a whole. Because like, I feel like the Xbox isn't like it's not the main way they make money. So
no, I think
I
that's
agree.
awesome. Yeah.
I agree that Xbox basically, in my opinion, it's probably one of the leaders when it comes to like making sure anyone can touch it or anyone can play it. Minecraft is a huge example. There's a couple other examples. Game Pass itself, the fact that you can get that on your phone as well, right? It's not necessarily like Xbox exclusive. You can log in Game Pass into, say, your iPhone or whatnot. Similar to Google Stadia.
Yeah, I don't know. they've been really nice about like I don't know, just making their games available. Like you hear this like phrase like for the gamer, but like everything's like I don't know. Like I really do think they're making the right moves, but like the one thing that I think Sony has the edge over is definitely the exclusives, and that's why I keep going back to that.
Right, exactly. That's what I say when I get anything. I'm like, all right, what can I play this on? That's why I love Nintendo. Because Nintendo, you know what you're getting, man. You can't get that anywhere else. You get what you get from Nintendo. But if I want to play, let's say like Madden or something like that, then whatever, you take your pick of your system, man. But it's the exclusives is where it's at. If Xbox does that, if they have more exclusives like Halo, I think they're going to be in a better position.
So weirdly enough, I feel like I forget who hit on it earlier. Like I feel like the future of Microsoft is really with the Game Pass. Like because the one of the things I will give Microsoft over Nintendo, over definitely Nintendo and over Sony, is their online interface is rock. So, like their network, I'm not saying it never goes down, but if you compare it to like the shoestring and can that is the Sony network, which is still leagues above the telegraph,
Online.
right? The telegraph and smoke signals that are Nintendo Online. Like it's rock solid, and I love the idea of them building on that with something like Game Pass, which like, all right, cool. We are going to truly be kind of the Netflix of video games. Like we have figured out a way to make that work. Again, don't know how it's working for the developers. Hope they're getting paid somehow, but I think they're making it work. And I don't know if the future of Xbox itself as a physical thing, how strong that's going to be, but I definitely think the future of Microsoft in the video games industry is looking really good and really strong.
Yeah. Honestly, I just always kind of liked Microsoft as a company. I guess that's just partially just because I kind of grew up playing Halo a lot, but.
But now Sony has PlayStation Plus collection. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
That's
But
their version. I didn't really research that one too much, but is that their version of it?
sort of like it's mostly PlayStation Plus collection for the PS5 when it comes out. It's mostly first party stuff
Okay.
and a couple of like third party things that you're going to have access to, like PS4 games that will be optimized for the PS5. Like I think the breadth and depth of Game Pass is just much greater. It's so much greater with so many more options. Yeah, but it's interesting because you guys were talking about like Halo, and it's so weird because it's the game. Like if you were to ask me a series, a game that I most associate with Microsoft, it is that. And I remember the first one really just being a game changer for the console.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But these last couple of releases, oof,
I know.
oof.
I know.
And I wonder, like post like 2020 or post 2020, because we're not even getting it in 2020. Can Halo be Halo again? Can it be that kind of defining first-person shooter in a world that like has yearly CODs coming out, in a world that has things like I'm trying to think of all the other like crazy first-person games like that we have, like the Overwatches, the
Doom. Yeah, Doom honestly is so impressive to me because like you have these potentially like genre creating games, and then like they had a bit of a down period, and then they just came back because they felt like it, and then again they're now back to being genre defining games.
Yeah.
Like kind of bringing back the idea of the old school shooter where like no reloading, you run fast, you shoot dog. You have a wide variety of enemies, and you have a bunch of guns. It's just that classic, maybe not arcadey feel, but it's definitely more of like an older style that you don't get as much, and I think that's part of why, especially like Doom and Doom Eternal are just so great to play because they just stick out so much in the modern landscape.
Definitely.
Yeah, Doom is a pretty good example. I think slightly lesser, but at least that kept it in Wolfenstein. At least the first one. I can't speak to the second one, didn't play it. But there was something that was kind of able to revive interest in that franchise. So it's possible, but like, I don't know, like what do people expect from a Halo? Like, what would you want from a new Halo game?
I feel like that's kind of different for everyone because there's people who very much enjoyed like Halo 5 and playing the multiplayer, and they enjoyed that kind of style a lot. But there's also a lot of people who want like a really great campaign in the vein of like Halo 2 or Halo 3.
Yeah.
There's some people who want something that's really story driven, like Halo 4, and it's kind of like you have to strike the balance there because there's a whole bunch of different people that want very different things, and you need to make a game that appeals to all of them. So, in terms of multiplayer, do you want to appeal to the crowd most recently with Halo 5, or do you want to try and bring back the feel of people who really enjoyed older Halo in terms of like the really classic, just that the classic Halo feel? It's hard to explain if you haven't played it, but
Yeah, I just hope they don't copy the Call of Duty formula. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I hope they don't just let's jump on the bandwagon and do what Call of Duty is doing, and just
Microtransactions or
just
We
microtransactions.
already had Halo 5, so.
Yeah, I think for me, for Halo, I would be super happy if they had an awesome co-op player. Maybe you could do online, great story, and then a good multiplayer. You know what I mean? Include both. I mean, it doesn't have to be like, I don't know what Call of Duty is doing nowadays. Dimitri, you can tell me what it's doing, but just go back to your roots, man. You know what I mean? Go back to what will put you on the map and make it better. You know what I mean? That's my dream. You know.
That's really all it needs to do because there's so many people who loved that kind of game and would just like love to see that back.
Yeah, I think Connor even mentioned it, like a great campaign. Like, I don't know, man. That like those are its roots. I'm just like afraid that it's too late, you know? I don't want to say it. Like you guys say Doom kind of came back and like, killed it, but can
I
Halo
wouldn't say
do?
killed it. I think it's just Halo and Doom, like they seem similar, but they just end up playing so much differently because like Halo is relatively like it might not be it's not slow, but it's not at like the same constant breakneck pace of Doom.
Right,
Doom is
right.
very
Like running gun, fast
yeah,
paced.
Doom is Doom.
Yeah.
There's not really a way to say it, but Halo was at its roots. It was always a bit of a slower pace. You have shields. You take longer to kill. A lot of your enemies took longer to bring down. But
I don't know. No, I know what you mean. I'm just afraid it's like too late for a comeback, you know.
I don't know if it's too late. I just worry about like I feel like there was a point where kind of Gears came really close. Like Gears of War came so close to being the thing that defined made kind of Halo forget. And then I think Gears kind of dropped the ball near the end. But I definitely think there's just so many people, like I think Christopher said, there's so many people to serve in this and just trying to make something for all of them. I don't know. I think they've gone through their second creative director for this game. Two of them have come and then left. And so I just hope whoever this third person is can kind of put it all together. Or maybe they just need Bungie back. Like
I was
maybe
just about to say that.
Microsoft just needs to bite the bullet,
Yeah.
pull up to Bungie's offices with the Brinks truck,
Yeah.
like bring Master Chief home.
Yeah, forget Destiny. Go back. Go back to Halo. Man. You know?
Destiny had something going at first.
Okay.
Yeah,
The way that I would describe Destiny is like that one friend that you don't want to remember as being friends with. Like, that we had a lot of good times. I met a lot of good people. You know, I spent about a solid 48 hours of playtime, just playtime, getting 3 elemental swords. And looking at it now, why?
yeah, I know. Yeah, looking back at it, you're like, why did I even go through all
Like, it was amazing for its time. Like, oh wow, PS4 came out, Destiny, playing it, and then I realized it's just
that? All
it's
for
like
nothing.
Pokemon, but without the cuteness. You know, you just do a lot of grind, but I don't feel accomplished. Like I beat a Pokemon gym leader. You know, that's awesome. But like with Destiny, it's like you kill the Cabal.
There's
I'm
no
still
reward.
killing the Cabal. Yeah, there's
Yeah, I
still
know.
more.
Keep doing
They,
it.
they
Keep
need
same enemies. Yeah.
they need a better reward system to make me feel like I'm invested and they're invested in me as the player. But yeah, Destiny is like that friend that you know you don't want to remember as being friends with.
And if you,
I guess in terms of that idea of, oh, well, I'm doing this again and this again, I feel like that's something that Halo was really good with
Yeah.
in terms of mixing up location and enemies. So, like in Halo 1, you had 2 main kinds of enemies. You had the Covenant and you had the Flood, and you had to approach both of them very differently.
Mhm.
Like, and then, like, as time went on, the Covenant became more internally diverse as well as the Flood. So you still had these 2 different main things you fight. However, they both behave so differently, and they both ended up so deep that, like especially in Halo 2, you'd swap off between the 2 different ones, and it kept all your combat really fresh. Sometimes you'd be fighting both at once.
Mhm.
And in Halo 3, that was further expanded upon. In Halo 4, they added a lot of the Promethean enemies, which was a third different kind of enemy that you had to approach differently. But in turn, because of the ending of Halo 3, there wasn't the Flood around. So you had now these 2 different ones that you fought differently, but it wasn't as diverse as the difference between the Covenant and the Flood. But it's definitely something that I think was done better than the enemy variety in Destiny, because a lot of the enemies in Destiny ended up feeling either like bullet sponges that didn't really attack you, or just a thing with a gun that shoots at you.
I still remember the last day I played Destiny, and it was me and 2 other people. Me and my friend, we were like, just kind of playing, and the third person was like hardcore Destiny, and we were going through like one of the weekly raids. And we got to a point, and it really consisted of us trying to go into a room, the things killing us, the other dude just kind of walking forward and slowly going through, and then we'd respawn. We're like, all right, cool, let's do this. Oh wait, we died again, and he'd have to kill some more stuff so we can move slightly forward. And I think one of the guys, to this day, I don't know if it's true or not, he his internet connection accidentally went down, and then he didn't come back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that seems about it. That was fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say Destiny. If you didn't have people to play with, that game was gonna be a struggle. Yeah.
Now, for the Xbox Series X, Series S, or let's say Series X, is it backwards compatible with original Xbox games? Like, can you
Yes,
pop in a
it goes
disc
all-
from Gen 1 and
That's what they're saying.
okay, all right.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's just such a cool thing to add in. Like, I can't even really phrase that another way. It's just cool as hell.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
It is.
they might not re-release it, but every single one of these has been like a disc-based system. Unlike, say, Nintendo, where you had the GameCube, which used tiny discs that were entirely different from Wii discs, and then Wii and Wii U were kind of similar, but then the Switch went back to like game cards, which are different game cards from the DS, which had different game cards from the 3DS, and it's like Xbox is just able to have it so you can very easily use all of them, right? Like, sure, there's differences in terms of like storage, and they are different discs, but like they're all discs at the end of the day. Like they had the ability to do it, and they were like, this will make this like the best Xbox for all of our fans. You know, you don't have to keep out your old, very large Xbox along with your 360. Well, probably not the 360, along with your Xbox One, and then the Series X on top of it. If we could just have it so you could use just one.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's just such a great decision for the consumer.
Yeah.
Like Microsoft has become recently just a very consumer oriented in terms of their marketing of the Xbox One X. Oh, not Xbox One X, the Xbox. You know what I mean?
Bad at naming. Good at.
Yeah. Bad at naming, but
Yeah, I know.
Well, one final thing I wanted to touch on, but kind of piggybacking what you said, Christopher, because we were talking about good consumer support. Now let's talk about the other thing, and unfortunately, we're going to talk about our friends at Nintendo. They recently announced release of an anniversary edition of the first Fire Emblem, which is great. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Going to be awesome, except for the fact that they're only selling it until March 31st. Like, which they're also doing for Super Mario, the latest Mario release, which is 3D All-Stars.
Yep.
Great. Available only until March 31st. And this artificial scarcity, for what reason? Like, I'm hoping that they're going to announce a Switch 2, that this is the reason that they're doing it, but I don't think that's it. I really think it's just like, hey, we know we can get a couple extra people to bite on this, and I don't like it. I don't support it.
yeah. It's kind of, honestly, in a sense, it kept me back from buying these because it was like, in that, it really tears me up, especially on, because the two games they put it on are things that people have been asking for a lot. Re-releases of Japanese-only games and re-releases of games that you can't at all play on the Switch. So, an N64 game, a GameCube game, and a Wii game. Both of these were things that people had been really asking for, that people really wanted. And then they gave that to us with a big, like, drawback, I guess, with a big tag right on the back of these are a limited release and these are absolutely going to get scalped to hell and back. And apparently the 3D All-Stars already has. Like, people are already like buying things to prepare because like, as soon as it's gone, like, people won't have the ability to get it back. So get a new Switch. Better hope you can transfer it over.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it. It's just awful.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't get it. Was it money? Is it? I mean, well, I don't understand what. Is it Bowser that did that? What's going? You know what I mean? Like, whose decision is that? Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
Bowser.
put it past him.
Yeah.
I still don't like it. I still don't support it.
Me neither.
John Bowser. No.
What a coincidence, huh? Yeah.
I hope so, Connor.
Yeah.
Connor's saying it's play people to buy a new Switch.
Huh?
Like, I
That's
hope
true.
there's a new iteration of Switch. Something to make this make sense. Like, right now it's just a low down dirty cash grab.
I think it's time for a Switch 2.0. I'm hoping IPS certified glass.
We'll see, yeah. We'll see the Switch Pro. But it's something to think about.
All right.
All right, guys.
I think we're. Ooh, wow, we went a little bit over.
A little bit over,
Yeah.
but that's okay.
This is a good time, guys.
Yeah, good discussion.
So we'll meet again in a couple of weeks. 2 weeks?
Yeah.
All right.
2 weeks. It'll be
2
the
weeks.
day before the PS5 comes out.
Oh
So-
God, what a big day! Maybe we'll do 2-hour session next time, man.
Wait, maybe it should be done on the day after the PS5 release
Oh man,
Yeah, so everyone has a bit of time to get all of
to
it.
process,
exactly.
feel
Yeah.
it, experience it, and then the meeting,
Mhm.
we talk about it.
No.
Eventually.
It'll be a good one. But yeah, we'll spend. It's going to be November 11. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm just guessing, man. You're gonna get one. I think you're gonna get one, man.
I'm gonna do everything I can.
I got a good
Do
feeling
everything.
about it. You got it. Dimitri, I don't think you're gonna get one.
Come on.
No good
I'm
feeling.
not-
No good feeling.
You said it.
Kratos
man.
has spoken.
Oh, shit.
Great news. All right.
Everybody.
Mhm.
All right. Thanks, guys. We will
Yep. This is a
meet.
good talk.
Yeah, we'll meet again.
All right. Take care of
Bye.
yourselves.
All right. Have a good night.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.